When insects enter your house, do they realize they are going to die? That's it. The fly that just buzzed past your head has about 28 days to live under normal conditions. That's already not great. But your house is not normal conditions. Your house has you in it, armed with a rolled up magazine. Which, from the fly's perspective, is basically moving into a building and then finding out the building is also a predator.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And it has no idea. Or does it? And more importantly, does it know you want to kill it? So let's start with flies.
Come here. Come here.
Because flies are the warm-up, and believe me, you're going to need it. Flies are the ones most of us have the least sympathy for and the most complicated relationship with. A fly's brain contains roughly 100,000 neurons. Your brain contains 86 billion. To put that in perspective, you are 860,000 times smarter than a fly, and you still can't catch one with your bare hand. When a fly lands near you and you raise your hand to swat it, here's what actually happens in that 100,000 neuron brain. Large object. Movement detected. Velocity calculating. Threat level high. Escape route identified. Decision made. This entire process takes less than 100 milliseconds. Before your arm has finished moving, the fly has already filed you under dangerous but slow-moving obstacle and executed a full escape plan. You actually lost before you started. Which means one of two things. Either the fly is an extraordinarily efficient survival machine running on pure instinct, or the fly is trolling you, and honestly, both seem equally possible. Here's the thing nobody talks about though. When the fly enters your house, it has no exit strategy. It flew in through an open window into an enclosed space full of one of the most dangerous predators on the planet, and it had absolutely no plan for getting out. Does it know that? Probably not in any way we'd recognize as knowing. But somewhere in that 100,000 neuron threat program, something registers. This environment is different. Exits not found, obstacles unpredictable, and this large but slow object is still following me. The fly came in looking for food and found you instead. It just doesn't know those aren't the same thing. The hardware isn't there. But mosquitoes are different and worse. Because mosquitoes have actually done their research on you specifically. A mosquito uses at least 3 completely separate detection systems to find you. Carbon dioxide from your breath, detectable from up to 50 meters away, body heat, and your specific body odor. Which, and I say this with respect, is very detectable. But this precise chemical cocktail is why some people get destroyed by mosquitoes every summer while others barely get touched. And its conclusion, after all that sophisticated multi-system detection, you're an acceptable risk. Yeah, you, with your opinions and your very specific preferences about how your coffee is made. You are an acceptable risk for the mosquito. That's what it is thinking. The mosquito assessed your defense system, calculated the vulnerability window, and committed. It is not afraid of you, and it sure as hell is not impressed by you. It has done the math and decided you are worth it. So what does it register when it gets killed by you? Pain receptors in insects are called nociceptors, and mosquitoes, they have them. Whether that means they experience something we'd recognize as pain is still genuinely debated, but in the moment of impact, something fires. Something inside their brain registers. The threat was real. The math was wrong. You were not an acceptable risk. You were the risk. And it found out the hard way. The mosquito's last thought, if you can call it that, is probably something like, should have picked someone else on the street. And we're going to feel bad about a lot of insects today, but not for the mosquitoes though. The mosquito made its choice. It has to be done. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to build a small, weird community of people who lie awake at night thinking about whether mosquitoes have regrets when you smack it. And you're clearly one of us, so might as well make it official. Now, bees.
Yeah? How do you like the smell of flames?
Not as much.
Yeah.
Wow! Okay.
Everything so far has been about insects that don't really know you exist. But bees, they are different. Bees know exactly who you are. A honeybee colony contains between 20,000 and 80,000 individual bees operating as a single coordinated superorganism. They communicate, make collective decisions, and maintain the inside of their hive at exactly 95 degrees Fahrenheit year-round through coordinated fanning behavior. And yes, without a thermostat and electricity, just 80,000 bees who figured it out. And somewhere in that system, they developed a category specifically for you. They remember faces. In controlled studies, researchers trained bees to associate specific human faces with food rewards. The bees could identify those faces accurately, consistently, and over time. Impressive, unsettling, but impressive. But here's the part that keeps one specific researcher's life very complicated. To run these experiments, someone had to be the face. Some actual human person, let's call him Steve because someone has to be Steve in every science experiment, agreed to stand in the same spot every single day while thousands of bees landed on his face for sugar water. Steve had to sprint to his car every afternoon or get mobbed. Can someone check on Steve? Science is not glamorous, but I guess it's funny to watch from a safe distance. But what this means for our question is significant. The bee is not looking at humans as a category. The bee is looking at you, specifically. It is filing your face under a classification that gets updated every single time you walk past the hive. Now here's where the question gets genuinely uncomfortable. Ants. There are approximately 20 quadrillion ants on Earth. Right now, their combined weight equals roughly 20% of all human biomass on Earth. 1/5 of everything we weigh in insects, running around beneath our feet right now. And that's just the ants. An individual ant has about 250,000 neurons, less than a fly in some species. Tiny brain, simple instructions, nothing to worry about, you think. But an ant colony is not an individual ant. An ant colony is a superorganism, a single entity made of millions of moving parts capable of collective problem solving, agriculture, construction, and warfare. Fire ant colonies build floating rafts out of their own bodies to survive floods. Leafcutter ant colonies farm fungus in underground chambers with agricultural management sophisticated enough to impress actual agronomists. They have been doing this for 130 million years. We have been doing anything for 300,000. So what does this superorganism think when a human kills one of its members? Well, here's what actually happens. The crushed ant releases a chemical signal called an alarm pheromone. The surrounding ants don't grieve. They don't even register the loss of an individual. They register one thing. Chemical threat signal detected, activate defense response. So now you didn't just kill an ant. Nope. You sent a message to the entire colony. And the colony received your message, noted it, and sent a response. The response? More ants. And no, not because they're angry, but because that's what happens when you poke something that has outlasted dinosaurs, ice ages, and 5 mass extinction events. You are, from the colony's perspective, a temporary inconvenience. A slow-moving obstacle that occasionally causes a chemical signal and then goes away. Like every other large slow-moving obstacle for the last 130 million years. The colony has seen worse than you. No, wait. The colony has seen worse than everything. It is not worried about you. It has never been worried about anything. It was not worried when the asteroid hit. It was not worried when the ice came. It is certainly not worried about whatever you're holding right now. You stepped on one ant. The colony filed it under probably another Tuesday. And then there's the insect that has made the most deliberate, considered long-term decision about what humans are. Cockroaches. 320 million years on Earth. Survived the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Can survive radiation levels that would kill a human in hours, and not to forget, they live for weeks without their head. Yeah, not my favorites, I'll be honest with you. And in the last 10,000 years, cockroaches have made a unilateral decision. They go where we go. And no, not because they like us. Not even because they're curious about us, but because they identified humans as the single most reliable producer of warm enclosed environments and accessible food waste in the history of the planet. They have simply chosen to follow that resource wherever it moves. We built cities. The cockroaches moved in. We heated our buildings through winter. The cockroaches stayed. We spread to every climate zone on Earth. The cockroaches came with us. And when we try to kill them, oh boy, they know. Their legs contain nerve sensors that detect air displacement. So the tiny pressure change caused by a hand, a shoe, or a magazine coming down, they feel it before it arrives. The cockroach has never been surprised by you. Not once. So what does that mean in the end? Well, we think we're the dominant species on this planet. The cockroach thinks we're infrastructure, and the cockroach has been right about everything for 320 million years. So maybe it knows something we don't. So to recap, what do insects think of humans? The fly has been trolling you and will be trolling whoever finds you at the end. The mosquito analyzed you and shrugged and was wrong exactly once. The bee has a file on Steve that gets updated every single time he walks past. The ant colony got your message and sent more ants, and the cockroach looked at human civilization 10,000 years ago and thought, perfect, that's exactly what I needed, moved in, and has not once questioned the decision. Not one of them thinks you're special. Not one of them has looked at everything you've built and felt anything beyond. Obstacle, risk, normal Tuesday, or infrastructure. You killed something today without thinking about it, and the insects? It knew you were coming before you actually did. It just couldn't do anything about it. Nature's weird and the fly's still trolling you, I guess.